Welcome and thank you for joining me, Alyssa Arundell, for your June 2020 tarot card reading. If you haven't already and you'd like to check out your free 3-card tarot spread, you can do so in the description box beneath this video. These are not generic readings. Every outcome is written for the tense that it is made for. So you get real clear insights into your own situation absolutely for free. And please, I'd be honored if you pressed the subscribe button and notification bell so that you get alerted every time Patrick and I drop a new video. But without further ado, let's get into our reading for June 2020. Hello Capricorn, and thank you for joining me for your tarot reading for June 2020. Let's see what comes up for your present situation here, Capricorn. You have the High Priestess. This is, I feel this is definitely you. The High Priestess is very knowledgeable, very wise. She has this book of knowledge in her hand. In other tarot decks, she sits between the pillars of wisdom, the pillars of duality. And what all that really means is that she knows her stuff. But the interesting thing about the High Priestess is that she doesn't go around telling everybody what she knows. Like, she waits for people to come to her. And so I feel like this month for you, Capricorn, you might see something that could really do with your advice. But honestly, I think it's best to maybe stay out of the situation unless you're asked to get involved. That way, you don't feel like you're wasting your time and energy on something that isn't going to be received or isn't going to be, that isn't going to be respected, basically. What's blocking you here? Right, well, this is interesting. You've got the 9 of Pentacles. This is about harvest. So it could be that you're waiting for something to come in. This could be as simple as you're waiting for an invoice. You're waiting for someone to pay you some money, or you're waiting for some money that is owed to you in some way. If it isn't your finances in particular, I feel like there could be a little bit of impatience about, something, whether it's a job, a house move. A lot of it could be to do with the obvious current climate that we're living in. So maybe the brakes have been slammed on a bit, and that it can be frustrating, Capricorn. I really, really get that. The card that is your foundation, this is what your life is built upon at the moment. And this is a fantastic card. It's the 2 of Wands. This is about enterprise, business, partnerships, working together. It usually is one other person, so it could be you have a business idea that you want to explore with a friend or a colleague. It could be that in a romantic relationship, you're supporting each other in a very profound and deep way. And this could really make you respect that other person a lot and make them respect you a lot. So this is a great card to come up as your foundation, Capricorn. Very you so far. I feel this is very sort of determined. Your past here is the 9 of Swords. 9 of Swords is not the nicest guy to get in a tarot spread. This card often represents sleepless nights, depression, can represent anxiety, nightmares, sort of those dreams where you want to wake up but you can't wake up. But this is the past, so this is great news. I'm sorry to hear if you have been going through these things, Capricorn, or somebody that has, at least, because it isn't always easy, but there is always a light, and I feel like you may start to feel a bit more like that this month if you have had these struggles. So the card that is spiritually crowning you here is the 10 of Swords. You're at the end of a cycle. The 10 of Swords can mean exhaustion. I'm not going to lie to you. It feels like you're a bit defeated. There's been a big battle and you have all the knives in your back. This is a bit of a Caesar moment. Perhaps you feel a bit betrayed by your friends or family in some way. But it's the end of a cycle. This is 10. It can't get worse, right? This is like you've been in the pits of despair over something, but there is, like we said, that light, and spiritually, you're really coming into your own now. So there could still be some residual upset that you deal with this month. I'm not going to lie to you. So this is interesting now. So your immediate future here, you have the Six of Cups. This is about nostalgia. This is about your childhood. This is about people from your past coming back into your life in some way. Perhaps you've been reminded of something lately that you'd rather forget or that you don't want to look at. This could be something that's very, very personal to you. But I feel there's a lot of emotional healing to come this month. I think there's a lot of inner work and a lot of delving into actually the kinds of people you do want in your life, as opposed to being stuck with people or situations that no longer serve you. So a lot of thinking going on. And talking of thinking, let's have a look at your state of mind, Capricorn. Right, for your state of mind here, we have the Eight of Wands. This is very fast-paced, fast move. Whoa, there we go. Very fast-moving energy. I think you kind of just want to get on with it. Like, you don't want to be constrained by your past anymore. You don't want to be constrained by limitations, whether they're material, emotional limitations. You want to go for it. You want to get on with it. And that is really commendable, you know. And it's more fiery than the earthiness, you know. I think you're maybe tapping into more fiery elements of yourself. Here in your outside influence, we have the King of Cups. This can often represent a male in our lives who's kind to us, who supports us emotionally. It doesn't have to be male, usually is though. If it doesn't represent a person at all, this is asking you to have kindness with yourself. Make sure your cup is filled before you start filling other people's cups, okay? You know, you may have guests in your life, you know, sometimes, but it's still your life. It's still your house. And when in Rome, people have to abide by what your rules are. So don't feel opposed to laying down the law a little bit, Capricorn, within your own domain. Your hope or fear is the Four of Pentacles. This card can be a bit apathetic, a bit like the Four of Cups in some ways. You can feel a bit like, drained, right? But it's also a card of not wanting to give or share. It's a bit hoardery-ish. I think I've just created that word. But it's, say, for example, you had like a diamond ring or a sports car, and you never wore the ring or drove the car because you didn't want to damage them. But then there's that whole question of, well, what's the point in having things? What's the point in having something if you're not going to use it or enjoy it? And so I think maybe there are some things in your life, Capricorn, that you're just a bit concerned about how to deal with them, you know. But this is okay. I don't feel you have to make any snap decisions. Like, I think your brain wants you to make snap decisions this month with the Eight of Wands, but I don't see any evidence of having to do that. Now let's have a look at your outcome. You have death. Death very rarely means physical death. Although physical death could be on your mind if you're thinking about a past loved one, if you're thinking about the current climate where people have lost their lives, if you're thinking about, your own mortality in some ways. But I don't really get so much physical death with this card. I feel this is more to do with a spiritual metamorphosis, a transition. This month for you, Capricorn, it's very mixed. Like, it's such a mixed bag. You've got this High Priestess not getting involved in arguments unless you're asked to. Maybe a bit of impatience and worry over your finances. I think this is very much about letting go of the things that have been traumatic And I know that is easier said than done. It could be reaching out for counselling or help in some way. I think this month you could be reminded about your past a little bit, and there could be a bit of melancholy about that. But just know that, you know, this is part of this spiritual awakening that you're going through. You're tying up these loose ends, so to speak. You should be very proud of yourself that you can delve into these aspects of yourselves, these shadow areas of yourself, and really bring them into the light. So this could be a terrific month for spiritual transformation. Thank you so much for joining me here this month. I really do appreciate you spending your time with me. If you would like to book a one-to-one session with me, I will leave that information in the description box. You can also order your digital tarot card reading, which is emailed directly to you. So if you want to check that out, also prices are very affordable. I'll leave that in the description box too. But until we speak again the next time, I'm wishing you lots of peace and stay safe. Warm wishes, Alyssa.